Thank you. Thank you for having me. So moving from one of Sweden's prides to the other, furniture to cars. That's awesome. I will, let's see, get this to work. There we go. So driving open source, it's about our future mobility. Will it be based on open source or not? Based on the talks this morning, we know it's already based on open source. And the hope is that we will get even more. So at least at Wireless Car, we aim to drive that movement even further than it is today in order to help the automotive industry, I would say. So what's the current status of software in automotive? Again, there's lots of open source. Curl is one example. I think you mentioned a few years ago that it's already in 100 million vehicles, which is probably more by now then. And I think Linux and Android, it's all over the place. But there's still, it's kind of hard because there's not so many ready-to-use solutions. Like compared to a Linux distro or something that you can take, you can install it on your personal computer, then you can start developing software that others can use directly. That concept doesn't really exist in automotive yet. So that combined with the fact that automotive OEMs, the car makers, they have really slow development processes for software. They're struggling to get out of the hardware processes, so they're trying to make software the same way. And there's lots of proprietary software. I think if we look at the iceberg shown in this morning's presentation, I think it's probably flipped around in automotive that there is open source, but there's so many proprietary stuff on top of it that it's really hard to get interoperability between the different OEMs. And then for each and every car line, OEMs, they tend to redo things. They're spending billions on just rebuilding the same enablers over and over again. And that leaves not much room for actual innovation of user value in the end. So they spend all their time on building the same thing, no new things. I'm generalizing, of course. There are some OEMs out there that manage to do it, some disruptors that manage to do it in a better way. But these are the problems that we want to solve. But then also, one of the current buzzwords in the industry is the software-defined vehicle, the SDV. It's for anyone here working with IT infrastructure servers or smartphones, this is it's probably strange that this is a thing, because all of those things are already software defined for many years now, but the cars, they're not. So there are lots of different definitions on this. I like this one from PwC that says basically that an SDV is something where you can continuously provide new user value throughout the life cycle of the product through software then. And this is, again, some car makers are managing that today, most are not. There are different ways to see it as well. You can look at it at different levels of software-defined vehicle. And using this model, then all cars since the 90s at least are software-defined in some way, because the level 0 is having software in the car. Then moving upwards to get it connected, and then level 2, where I think many cars are today, where you can update or do maintenance of existing functions on the car. Then level 3 and upwards are the actual SDVs that we talk about, where you can add functions, you can create new experiences, you can have third-party software on top of the vehicle. And I mean, some OEMs are there, some are partially there. For example, if they have an Android automotive head unit, then you can get some of this things already in the car, but you can't update or upgrade the whole car. So these are the levels. And when I talk SDV now, I mean level 3 or higher, basically. And the SDV market is likely growing. Today, less than 5% of all the 100 million sold cars in a year are SDVs. But estimate is that it will grow a lot, 40%, 60% in 5 to 10 years. And considering that each car then has hundreds of millions lines of code, and the level 3 or 4 SDV means that you have to update that, keep it updated, and then also add new software over the life cycle of the car. It becomes a huge task to do all this, especially if, like most OEMs, they have separate software stacks for the separate car lines. So it just becomes a very complex task to handle. So can we continue doing it that way, is the question. And of course, no, we can't. There must be more reuse of software somehow. Instead of having multiple proprietary stacks for each car line, you need the reuse of software for cars. And going towards a single software stack for your entire program of cars that you can then update and get out new software to all the different car lines in the same way. So the industry is working on this. This is not news in any way. So lots of OEMs are working on this, but there are very few that has it in production at scale today. Some of the disruptors, like maybe Rivian or Tesla or NIO, they are making it, but it's not at the same scale as other OEMs need it. So these traditional big OEMs, they need to do that, and they also need to spend a lot of time on innovation, disrupting or differentiating innovation that they can attract customers for them. So, and I don't have unlimited resources, so how can we handle this? So, open source software, I think that can be an answer. And why is that? Yes, because then you share the burden, basically. You get you don't get free developers, that's not the case, but you share the burden across the industry to do collaboration on open source software for the non-differentiating stuff, things that everyone needs, that's not really attracting the customer in a way, that you can do together. Then you free up resources to do the actual innovation on top of that. It will speed up the cycles for the software development, and it will improve interoperability if the OEMs are using the same software, of course. So this has been done in other industries like telecom and IT infrastructure, so it can work also for the automotive industry. Right, so what is the way forward there? My belief is that the industry should collaborate on an open platform for the SDV. Open collaboration between all the players using open standards. It can be formal standards, it can be de facto standards. Open source software, of course. And then this is both edge in-vehicle software and cloud software. Everything starts from the vehicle, but of course, lots of the functions in the vehicle also need cloud connectivity, counterparts in the cloud. And if you build that together from the start, it will work much better. So, seeing this open platform for the SDV as a long-term goal, what is the developer experience when working on this? This is like the CI/CD pipeline simplified one for cars then. This is normal for any other type of software development, that you have like portable environments where you can run your tests on the actual software that you will eventually put in production. I mean, this has existed for automotive to a large degree. It's starting to come, but this is what we need. And the open platform then needs to be able to run through this pipeline as well. You have to be able to run it on your local laptop, the in-vehicle part and the cloud part. You have to be able to run it in the software and the loop system in the cloud. And then you want to be able to run it in a hardware test farm, like a test rig farm, and then gradually deploy it up to more and more vehicles. That whole pipe must work, and the platform must support that. And that's a big change from today, I would say. I'm thinking one sort of I don't know, dream would be that any developer, not necessarily working at an OEM or at the tier 1 or something like that, that they could have their own SDV, the virtual SDV running on their laptop they bought at the local computer store, and run that virtually and build custom software for the software-defined vehicle. And then take it through the first 2 steps here, at least in this pipeline. And then after that, maybe you need more resources to do the next steps. But that is not possible today, because there's so many black box deliveries from various suppliers in the automotive, so that it's hard to get everything together in one simulation, if you will. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. And how can we succeed this time? Because things have been tried before. There has been, wireless car has been part of something called NGTP ages ago. There was something called GATS. There was Geneve, which is now Covisa. There was Automotive Red Linux, which is still there. All these things have existed, but it hasn't been a huge success, I would say. But I think the difference now is there is a huge push from disruptors, for example, Chinese OEMs, or some of the new pure software-defined vehicle OEMs, like Rivian, that sort of are pushing the traditional OEMs. They need to do something. There's also cost pressure, especially right now, the past couple of years, right? And going forward as well. And then, of course, right now the European Union is pushing it as well. They're going from asking OEMs not to build cartels to now asking OEMs to collaborate within the European Union. So there are some different foundations. The foundations maybe are not doing it, but they can help. And this, so it's the ones named here is except Covisa and AGL, it's also Eclipse SDV, which is then a European-based foundation, by the way. And then SOFI is a lot about the tooling, and then Federate is the European Union project of creating an open source stack for the SDV, both edge and cloud as well. So it's a lot of the same things as we are trying to accomplish at Wireless Car. Conclusion on that is that it's a really good time to build open source software for the automotive industry. And I think the community can help the automotive industry to catch up to the rest of the world by having software-defined devices, basically. So let's go build the foss-TV. And thank you. That's it.
Awesome. Question time. I know there are some automotive false folks here, so we'll have a good one. If I'll get to you. If I could start off, when I worked for Community, we met Greg Coe-Hartman at a conference, and I spoke with him. And he just said, look, I'm not so interested in automotive middleware, I just want the API to the car. Do you think you guys can deliver the API to the car?
Yes, we can, and we are. Lots of different ones, though.
It depends on the OEM.
Yeah, exactly.
People just raise their hand.
Hi, thanks. For the manufacturers of car that do not publicize in OpenAPI, do you do CAN bus sifting and such?
Sorry, I didn't. Can you repeat?
For example, Tesla has its own API for cars you can use, but other car manufacturers do not have a public API you can use. So do you resort to sniffing the CAN bus or similar techniques, or?
Are you asking us as a wireless car in this case?
Right, yeah, I was
so
a wireless car.
We work as partners or suppliers to the OEM, so we only work with the embedded devices directly, so we don't sniff any signals unless the OEM has given them to us, basically.
Okay, thanks.
Apropos CAN bus, do you think that there's anything out there that could replace the CAN bus? I know it's a widely used, very simple protocol, but it tends to be proprietary, and that can become very difficult for false developers.
I guess there are things coming. It's not my expertise, so I have to come back.
You see what your next time is easy.
To me, it seems like the automotive vendors are very locked into their suppliers, especially software suppliers. And now that there are it happens a lot with new hardware abstraction layers like AutoSAR and such. But it seems like it's the same companies that they're already locked into that they still use as suppliers, like Vector. Do you see an end to this? Do you see new players, or are we just stuck in the same system?
I mean, there has to be new players. I mean, this has to be driven by the OEMs as well. They have to select suppliers and use open source in that case, because then they're not locked in the end. Even if it's Bosch or whoever doing the delivery, if it's open source, then it's possible to switch.
All the really hard questions today. Okay, thank you very much. That was an awesome talk.